I guess I was quite spontaneous because I just immediately fell in love with forest therapy. In the town that I just moved to, there was a invitation to come to a forest therapy walk in the park near me, and so I went, and in the end it was just me being guided by this woman, and it was just around this park. It wasn't even in a forest. It was just, there was a river, a little river, and some trees, and we went through. We did a 3-hour walk, and when we got to the tea ceremony, there was the invitation to share. What would you like to share to complete? And usually they'd be like, oh, I had a relaxing experience, and I was like, so I'm gonna become a forest therapy. Can you give me the details? That was it. And so she was like, oh, okay, yeah, here, this is ANFT, and gave me the details, and and so I think maybe 3 months later I booked on to the training, and it was quite a lifesaver as well, because it was during lockdown. I really had a sense of community, even though we're online, and I could also, even if it was just really close to the house, I could go out and really deeply immerse in nature connection and really get to know the space I was living in. So it really guided me through that time. I think there's something about the combination of inviting people to kind of drop and relax and ground and feel the support and the calm of nature, with the invitation to also come into relationship. And I think that's the piece. I feel that we can't really be in relationship until we've dropped our nervous system and come into kind of our parasympathetic and feeling more heart open. And I feel that forest therapy really offers that opportunity to come into relationship, and I feel that that's my heart calling in that respect. I feel that I'm here on this earth to kind of, both personally, I feel that I've got a lot of journeying with how to heal my heart's habits of maybe contracting and not letting someone in, but also I feel that I've got a mission to support people to also come into relationship with the more than human world. And I feel that there's so many conditionings around kind of, nature is something to exploit and monopolize. It's an it rather than a living being, maybe family or whatever, however you want to describe it. So I feel that, my path is to kind of support people to remember that we are in relationship, rather than that it's a kind of power over situation. And so forest therapy to me feels like a really beautiful combination of invitations to help someone relax enough in the first place to even begin to open their heart. And I personally, both in terms of a participant and as a guide, I see how heart-opening forest therapy is. And I guess it's like being in the forest is enough in some way to open the heart, but it's something about creating a container where people can feel safe and calm their nervous system enough in the first place to really let in like the medicine and the guidance and the support of the forest. And so I leave a forest therapy walk, whether I've guided it or I've participated, just feeling so much more able to be compassionate, and or even if it's not even just a forest therapy walk, if I spend some time in the forest or in a beautiful nature spot, or even just with a tree that I love, like for an hour or something, I can come back to my communal home and my housemates are just like, whoa, you're feeling really like nice to be around. It's just like, I think because I then feel more resourced and I feel more myself and more grounded, and therefore I'm just more in my heart, and I'm more able to, if a challenge comes up and someone disagrees with something or they've got a different need from mine, I just feel more I just feel more connected, and so I can be like, okay, that's your need, this is mine, but it doesn't mean we have to be in conflict. And I really do feel that nature really does teach me a lot and help me, and it's like it's the teacher that kind of maybe my school certainly didn't offer me in relating and conflict resolution. It's really there to support me and other people, yeah. Thinking of guiding some loved ones, I was really touched to find that one of the loved ones who was in the walk was able to get in touch with a lot of kind of grief, specifically around the environment and the crisis of the environment. And I've never seen this person share about that, certainly not fully letting them, like, and it was a man, and there's like stereotype around, you know, men not really being able to, or allowed to express themselves like that. So it was all these layers of why I felt so touched for them to feel comfortable and safe enough to be with other people, letting tears stream with the grief of what they were seeing humans were enacting upon the earth. And the fact that there was space for that, the fact that like I didn't feel any concern like, oh, this shouldn't be, it was like this, of course, is so welcome, just as it's so welcome if someone was like, I had a really fun time playing in a tree, like that would also be so welcome. But just, I love the fact that I could feel while this person was sharing, like of course this is here, like if this is here, this is here. And I just, that in itself felt really touching, that I know that's in the practice, and it feels really congruent to me. That is so something that I always want to embody, that everything is welcome. And like one of my favorite kind of meditation teachers, poets, is Jeff Foster, and he speaks about like how deep within us we've got this ocean that can welcome everything. Every wave, like the fear wave, the joy wave, it's like it's all part of the ocean, like, and so we've been conditioned to be like, oh no, the fear wave is not, but the joy wave is good, but actually it's all part of the ocean. And so actually I feel like forest therapy and the way of the guide, as I've been taught, is it's kind of like a physical, one of the physical manifestations of that, like all is welcome, truly coming back into wholeness of everything that we are. So for that participant, that loved one, to kind of know that, it was the second or third walk they'd been on with me, and they, every time they're always just like, Ez, you've got to, this is so good, I love that you do it, it's really, I could do it every week, I could do it every day. And I'm just like, this really touches me that it really works for them, it really meets their heart's needs. And they also say that they find that as a group of loved ones together, we kind of need that time. They're like, oh God, like I feel like we connect deeply when we're all together in the forest, being guided in that way. So I think there's just multiple layers of what can touch people with that, yeah. So I guess one of my favourite invitations, along with kind of also just the really simple ones that I've been invited into, like explore the textures of this place, because that just feels so nourishing for the nervous system and just really calming and joyful, is also a bit more of a kind of out there one, which is just to kind of inviting us to come into our bodies and into relationship with the trees. And I really enjoy it, and it gives me a lot of a joy and a sense of deep connection with the trees. So it's something like, I hold the story that each tree moves in their own way, some swaying, some shaking, some twirling. I invite you to wander out through the forest and notice if there's a tree or a being that's moving in some way that calls to you. And I wonder if that movement inspires anything, any movement or anything in you. You may like to explore this with any of your senses. That kind of invitation really, I really love that opportunity to kind of allow my body to be a bit like a tree or a bit like a plant, or if there's a rabbit that comes out, and then that might also be, instead of a tree, it might just be that, oh, in that moment, that animal really inspires me to see what it's like to be them for a moment. So as part of the forest therapy training, we're invited to make a harvest project, and we start that quite soon on in terms of gathering what's inspiring us, and at the end bring it into culmination. And that can be anything. It could be a song, a poem, a photo, or many things. And I collated some poems that I felt like I kind of caught them just like an invitation, with the different beings I was in relationship with along the forest therapy training journey. And in the end I made this little booklet of some of the poems and some photos of these beings. And so the poem that I read last night was basically about stumbling across a meadow one day, maybe 2 years ago, and there was a hedgerow of quite short trees, and there was a tree there that, completely to my surprise, I had a very profound experience with. And it wasn't just like, oh, beautiful tree, I'm just going to sit there, lovely, lovely. It was actually quite real and nuanced, like it would be with a human sometimes, in the sense that there was something really confronting, and something beyond that edge, there was something deeply rewarding and rich and beautiful. And that's what, at that edge, I find myself always at that edge, just so intrigued, and so like my heart is so full for that kind of, how can we meet someone else even when we're being triggered a bit, and like how can we step into relationship even when it's not easy, and how can we welcome the shadows in another person, another being, in ourselves. Because if we don't do that, then we're only going to be looking for people that completely agree with us, and that's just not possible. So I feel like I'm endlessly being taught that in nature and in the world. So this poem is a kind of relational poem, and I feel that it's, in a way, it's a kind of dialogue. Obviously I can't say that I can speak for nature, but when I'm deeply in a moment of connection, I do feel like I'm hearing the essence of them in some way. It may not be exactly the words they would speak, but it's like the words they'd speak through my heart. And so this is what it feels. It's a dialogue between me and this tree that I encountered. So this poem is called "To the Beautiful Armoured One, I Am Here." At the sight of pain, there is life. Buds may end with spears, branches may be bare bone, circled with spikes, but there is life. You may not see me, blocking at the sun, I hear you say. You're all scared to come near, shocked by my puckered, charcoaled skin. You think me insignificant, stunted. But if you stayed long enough, like one of you did, led by the sunlit meadow, they bounced over to me, expecting a backrest, but stopped, almost edging away. I'm still here. I can leave whenever. I just wonder if we'd both like to spend some time together. Closed eyes, they joined me in silence, a child in a monastery, awe and nerves. I expected them to leave, but the more they saw of my scars, the longer they stayed. Their spine eased into the bank beside while they spoke to me. Yes, I feel some fear and love. I see your fierceness, what you've been through. I honour your armour, and I see life. Fresh grass, moss, ivy, the spiders, flies and unusual ladybirds welcomed with open arms. I feel the warmth where your skin has peeled. And there, lit by the sun, they honoured me with cinnamon tea and gentle fingertips. It was the not running away, the listening, the seeing and the being seen that I'll always remember.